Guys, you're getting lost in plot, and today we have Dexter New Blood, Episode 3.
Episode 3 is called Smoke Signals, and it makes me think, why did we need Episode 2?
We didn't need Episode 2. It's the short synopsis of what we've got here. What we have here is the plot thickening. Things are starting to happen, things that didn't happen in Episode 2, which was more or less filler, in my opinion. That's what I thought of it. Here,
we both thought, yeah.
Not the case.
No, things are moving forward here. Our main conflict is pushing forward, and what this episode does so well is they really give us a lot of complications for our protagonist. You don't want to make things easy for the protagonist, so the more complications you can bring in, and I think this episode does a good job of layering them in. They may not all hit at once, but if you put enough difficulties out there to kind of call back later in the season, you're setting yourself up pretty well.
Yeah, there's no doubt. If you're asking me, he hit it on the head. This is a complications episode where we're going to start to have Dexter deal with some new problems when a blood expert comes in, and in kind of that CSI fashion, he knows his trade, and Dexter knows that he's in for a bit of a battle. We also get some reveals with Harrison.
That's right, the character from Dexter's past. Now, this might be a little bit polarizing. I don't know. I'm okay with it for now. Depends on your mileage. Are you okay that he's going to be driving one of the big subplots through the season? It seems like he's going to have
I think he has to, because if you brought him in here and he's this pivotal person from Dexter's past, he has to bring a lot to the table. Where they go with that storyline is going to be very critical to the
what we
success
saw
of the
in this
season.
episode, were you okay with that? Are you starting to get impatient?
Well, I'm okay with what they showed me in this episode. They definitely shaded him in some different ways that we didn't expect. We learn a lot more about him.
We do.
And what we learn about him also shades his relationship with Dexter, because there's some trust issues developing. There's some other things that they're going to have to deal with that I think are promising for the future of this season.
Yeah, and I think what I really liked about this episode is a pretty big twist at the end, something we didn't see coming. Now, to kind of set it up without spoiling too much, there's a missing person, and everyone is searching through the woods to find this missing person, and no one is more concerned than the missing person's father. Okay, and then we think we know what happened to the missing person. Then at the end of the episode, we get something totally unexpected in that the father is indicating that he's already spoken to them. In fact, he's FaceTimed with them. And we as the audience kind of know better, so we're thinking to ourselves, what's going on here? And it's the same thing that, Dexter and the characters are thinking. Is like, what is happening? How is this possible? And we have no idea. I'm in the dark as a viewer, and that kind of excites me. I'm excited to see what happens, what goes forward, because I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting wrinkle at the end of an already pretty good show that brought you a lot more information and some ideas to sink your teeth into, and that builds up momentum for this next episode, Episode 4, which I will be greatly anticipating.
The other thing that we get in this episode is kind of a much bigger reveal, not a full reveal, of the main villain, I assume. Another killer that's operating in the same town. We kind of get more of their modus operandi, how they kill their victims, and we see a little bit of extra details there. I won't go into it too much, but we get a lot more. We still don't see the full picture, but it's starting to take shape. We're moving things forward. This is the 3rd episode out of 10 for the season, so we're kind of approaching that halfway point. So we're still okay with a lot of setup and world building, and this one, I thought all the characters were introduced in the first episode. This one brings in even more to the table and even more complications. But I agree with you. I really liked the scene with the blood expert when Dexter's so used to people being incompetent, and that kind of helps him to get away and cover up. And this guy is complete opposite. So the additional challenges and complications are good. This is what we want to see. This is what we want to see from the conflict. So where do you peg this one at?
This one for me is a 7. I just really like how they're pacing the information drops. It didn't feel like there was no point where I was getting antsy in my seat, like, these kind of long dialogue exchanges, we've been through this. No. They keep the information coming, they keep peeling back the layers, but the information you're getting is consistent with what you've already seen, but also somewhat unexpected. So that's what I like about it. I think that's good writing. I think it's good directing. Certainly made for good pacing in this
And this
episode.
is like the first episode that was so efficient in revealing such a wide amount of information. This one felt the same way, and it covered a lot of ground, which is why that second one in between them is really sticking out like a sore thumb, because it did so little, and it was all about these long conversations. So it's encouraging to see us get back on track with this episode a little bit, take things forward in the narrative, and I'm going to put it at a 7 out of 10 as well. Big improvement this week, and looking forward to episode 4.
There you go, guys. We hope you are enjoying Dexter: A New Blood. It's definitely worth the watch. Up to this point, that's our recommendation. If you are watching it, leave your thoughts and feedback in the comments down below. Like and subscribe. Check us out on Twitter. We'll catch you all in the next one.